What's going on, YouTube? Today I'm going to review a tool that I reviewed before in the past. It's been one of my most... Any video I've ever done on this tool has easily gone over 20,000 views. The last time I checked, I think even a couple of the videos are up over 30,000 views. So easily one of the most popular viewed things on my old channel. Also, one of the most hated set of videos I did on my old channel. So, why wouldn't I do another review on this? I think, I should have looked... Well, I didn't want to look at my old videos so it wouldn't skew what I say in this video. But I should have looked at the dates on them, because I don't recall offhand how old this tool is. It's got to be at least a good 6 years old, I want to say, now at this point. Just off the top of my head. So I can remember a couple of the very first projects I did, and those were a good 6 years ago, I want to say, if not longer. So, let's talk about the Dewalt Tracksaw. In short, after 6 years or whatever it's been, it's still a great tool. I haven't really had any problems with it that I can speak of. When I first got this tool, this was my main tool for cutting, basically, because back when I got this, I just had a one-car garage. My saw was this little dinky Craftsman table saw over here, which, I cut a lot of projects on that saw, but for the most part, this saw was kind of a piece of shit, but I made it work. Within the last couple of years, I've upgraded to this Jet Pro saw, or Pro Contractor saw, whatever the hell they call this thing. Pro Shop. It's written right there. And this saw is like a million times of a saw that piece of shit thing over there, whatever it was. So, back when I first got this, I used this thing all the time. I used this like a handheld table saw, basically, just because if I could get away with not running it through that table saw right there, I did everything I could not to use it after I had bought this thing. That's how nice this system is. But today, with this nicer table saw, I basically just take this, use it, cut my sheet goods down to manageable size, and I basically run it through this table saw here, and that's about all she gets used for these days. It's held up pretty good over the years, but I also built this sheath thing that I keep it in. I use this to transport it too, so it doesn't. So it usually gets thrown in the back of my pickup truck. So this kind of protects it from being banged around. Basically, the only real damage it's taken over the years is the rubber edge here is starting to tear out here. I did drop this at one point, and I can't find where I did it. I don't know which track it was, but I thought I busted up the corner. Maybe that's it right there. I don't know. It looks kind of funny right here. And I know I took a hammer and I basically just hammered it back down. Maybe it was right here, to get it nice and flat again. But that was my own fault. I wasn't paying attention, and I pushed it off the end of the sawhorse or something. One thing I will say though is when I first got this, of course they don't send you these nice clamps that go in the bottom here. These are an extra price, but definitely well worth the money to get these. When these were brand new, this rubber under here was real nice. You almost didn't need the clamps for a lot of things. But, as you can see, that it is kind of breaking down a little bit in places, and these days you almost always have to use the clamps to keep it in place. Of course, it depends on the material you are cutting and how good the blade is in there. I think this blade I've had in there a while. It's probably getting time to change it. But like I said, these days I just use this to process the sheets down, and I usually do the finishing cuts on the table saw. So that's how that goes. One thing I did buy back in the day, because I thought this would be a real useful thing, especially, you know, that working in that little garage I was working in. And I bought this Tracksaw router attachment because I thought that would be the bee's knees to put routes in and stuff without having to run like big pieces through my router table there, or trying to run. I never did have a dado set for that little saw, and actually that little saw would be kind of scary with a dado set in there, even though the instructions claim you can run a standard dado set in there, which I don't think that saw even has the power to do so, even though it says it does. But you know, that's a review for a different day. I really don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it's still running good, and you know, something I was looking at before I even started videoing is, you know, that you can adjust your RPM here. I have it maxed out. I don't know under what circumstances would you ever want to run it at a lower RPM. I mean, it gives you that option. You know, for the most part, I think the max I ever do with this is 2 sheets. I don't think this is capable of doing 3, if I remember right. Where I think like the Fez tool version is capable. But you know, for the most part, I don't know if I'd want to necessarily cut 3 sheets at a time with this. Even if I had like a side job where I was pumping out a bunch of cabinets, sometimes it's not worth the hassle of trying to cut so much at once.